happy October, whatever, 2023. I thought I'd just pop on for a second and do an impromptu live since it's been a while since I've been live. Short announcement, I just wanted to let everyone know that next Sunday, October 28th, over the eclipse, I will be doing a live ritual. So more details to come, but keep an eye out on that if you would like to kind of celebrate the eclipse in a group setting. I'll be live here on Instagram, and you can come and do the ritual with me. Please bring a white candle and some rosehip oil if you have, but if you don't have rosehip oil, like any anointing oil will do, and you can kind of be a live participant in what I have planned. So I'm super excited for that. And I also do have an autumn special on video sessions as well. So 15 minutes for $15, 20 minutes for $22. You can contact me on my website to book. But what I wanted to do more than anything else is draw a couple of cards. I won't be on too long. Yes, it is a different day, but yes, I have on the same top as I had on a couple of days ago, which I think is very interesting. I decided not to change because I just feel like it's a synchronicity. I think red is a dominant color for me this season. But I just went to the house, I think it's called the House of Music in Budapest, and I got this really amazing oracle deck. Maybe they have it on Amazon. I've never seen it before anywhere, so I had to get it. It's the Music Oracles, Creative Life Inspiration from Great Musicians. It's also red, and I've just been guided to just come and draw a card for us. So again, this won't be very long. It'll just be an intuitive read for us, because I just feel like this week that went by was volatile. I felt like it was a volatile week. I didn't have too much necessarily negative go on, but I noticed like on social media, it was like I was kind of feeling the heat. I had to turn back away from social media, which I really should have been doing a long time ago, but for some week this week, it was just starting to back up, starting to disengage, especially from TikTok. I don't know. It's just like for me, TikTok has always been a pretty positive space. Obviously, there is toxicity on TikTok, but for some reason this week, especially, I was getting hit with like really mean comments coming in that I've just never seen in a large capacity before. And this week I got more than I ever have. So I just knew that something was up. And I think that generally this October is like a difficult month, as I've stated before, so I kind of just want to come on and offer some support in terms of a reading for us, and also remind you of the special event that I'm doing on the 28th. But let me draw some cards here. Give me a second. Okay, collective energies. Just give me a general energy of where we're at and any advice for us with this deck here. Okay, so the general energy. Okay. We have Ella Fitzgerald. You are your own best teacher. Nothing is more hard-won than innocence, and intuition beats experience. And I love that they have like different musicians that maybe most of us know. If you don't know Ella Fitzgerald, like she is amazing jazz musician. Let me read her card as well, because it comes with a little guidebook that tells more about the people. And really this card is more about the essence of the musicians themselves and less about the little messages at the bottom. So let me find Ella Fitzgerald's, and we'll learn a little bit more about her together. I just know that she's an amazing jazz vocalist. Okay, so she's defined as a female voice in jazz, graduating from a hand-to-mouth childhood of appalling deprivation and spending years living by her wits on the streets of Harlem to become an internationally revered standard-bearer of the American popular song. Although she had no formal musical training, Fitzgerald was blessed with instinctive musicality, impeccable timing, and an incomparable sense of rhythm, and rarest of all, perfect pitch. I didn't know that. Legend has it that musicians would tune up to her voice. Wow, can you believe that? That is, anyone who knows music, like you being the standard for what other musicians tune their instruments to is crazy. Perhaps the most fitting tribute to her gifts was paid by a long-term confidant and collaborator who described her walking down the street, trailing music notes in her wake. That's beautiful. So really what I'm getting here is her story and just her essence that's coming through is a woman that has made it to the top despite any hardship or difficulty. It's a woman of elegance and of class, of tremendous taste and talent, who the outer conditions of her childhood wouldn't necessarily lend itself to her being known as that, but she became that over time through her own hard work and dedication. And that very much describes, I think, the period that a lot of us are in right now. It really, for some of us, just feels like almost like trekking through the mud, or like just a long kind of, I just get this image of us wading through like thigh deep mud over the muck and the marsh to get to the other side. And I'm hearing like the promised land, which is so interesting because like in African American culture, like the promised land is like freedom. So it's like we are all on our own journey to freedom, whatever that looks like for us. It could be freedom with money, it could be freedom in relationships to do what we want or be how we want, or energetically just to feel more like we are in charge of our life instead of just circumstances kind of running us or defining us. In a certain way, I think we're all in different stages of that journey. And I think that this week that we're in now, like this eclipse period, especially this past week has passed, I think, speaking for myself, has made it clear kind of how tough it can really be out there. So I just think that this period that we're in is a moment for deep self-care. It's a moment for you to take a look around, pat yourself on the back and say, you know what? I am greatness personified. I am innocent at my core, no matter what I may have done in the past. My essence is one of innocence. I understand that, you know, the world is a troubled place, but I can still be here and hold my center and hold my own. And through that, coming deeper into myself and coming deeper into authenticity is how I'm going to get the life that I want, the freedom I desire. And again, the intuition trumping experience coming in the card is just another reminder for us to really come into our own intuitive guidance and trust that above all else. Because, I mean, even in my life, some of the stuff that I am guided to do makes no logical sense. So it's just to the point where sometimes I don't even explain my choices, because if I do, it would make no sense. It's only, I'm going completely off intuition a lot of the stuff, and somehow it's working out. So this is also a call for you. If you are hearing a call in your soul, and just follow that call. And if you're following it, just keep going, because you are on the right track. Your own soul voice knows more than any individual outside voice can tell you. You are a diamond in the rough. You are pearl. Like I'm looking at her pearls and seeing images of like a clam coming out from the sea with a pearl in it. You'll never know by looking at a bunch of clams in front of you like which one is the pearl until you really start exploring and going off on your own on that adventure. So yeah, I hope that made sense, but that's kind of where we're at now. It's like we're in our growth phase. We are moving into a new world, a new state, a new resonance is what I'm hearing. And we are tuning our frequencies. So we are sound, like our essence is sound. We are tuning our frequencies to the harmonies of the divine. And that can sometimes put us out of, I don't want to say out of tune, but just kind of make it seem like what we have going on internally and our spirits may not match what's on the outer right now, but it will eventually. And Ella Fitzgerald's story of her rags to riches kind of tells us that. Super cool. And was she the one that sang Sunshine? How's it go? Oh gosh, I just dropped a bunch. The song is like, sunshine and the living is easy, something like that. Fish are jumping and the cotton is high. Is she the one singing that? How does it end? I don't remember how the song ends, but something about don't you cry, honey, don't you cry, something like that. So I think that this is maybe just another comforting energy coming in, like if you feel a resonance with that song. What's the name of it? You'll probably get it from what I'm singing, but I think that that could help as well. Let me pick up these cards. But I have one that did drop on the floor face up. And it's James Brown. So we have another powerful African American energy coming in. Oh wait, let me grab it. How does it go? Summertime. I'm trying to get the key. What's the key? Summertime. I don't even know. I don't know what key I'm in. But it's the summertime, the living is easy, the fish are jumping, and the cotton is high. I can't remember. I'm so out of it. It's like almost midnight where I am. But I just wanted to hop on. Okay, so another card that came face up, which is for current energies or the energies that we're like moving into, is James Brown. Knock him dead, then leave. I don't know what that means. Oh, okay. It just means show up being your own powerful, authentic self and leave the world quaking in your wake. Don't quit moving until it's payback time. Okay. When you're ready to get on up, it's time to get down. These captions like make no sense. But let's read the James Brown thing in the guide deck. What I do know about him is he was a powerful advocate for human rights, especially for the rights of African Americans. He has that famous song, Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud. And that is the song that's coming into my head. And I feel like his essence is coming through now and saying like, that's not just a song for African American people. It's a song for anyone who feels like they are living in a state of oppression. And I feel like some people can really attest to that. If you can feel oppressed by your job, you can feel oppressed by your relationships, you can feel oppressed by debt. There's so many different ways that you can just kind of feel trapped. And I think that that's lending itself to an energy of some of us feeling like stuck, or feeling like certain things aren't moving forward, or feeling like trapped, or feeling oppressed, or feeling down. Like that song can really help, because he has a very powerful phrase in the song that says, we'd rather die on our feet than continue living on our knees. So this was a man that 100% wanted people who were struggling, who maybe were feeling disenfranchised or maybe disrespected or not cared for in some way, whether it's by institutions, the government, etc., to take a stand and be powerfully themselves and stand up and say, like, I am amazing, I am great, I will bow to no one, I will own my power. So that's kind of what I'm getting from him. Let's see if the guidebook has anything to add. I just love, I don't know why the captions make no sense, but I just love tapping into like the energy of the different musicians. I find it like, especially his energy just feels so empowering. So I think that's the energy that's coming now. It's just like we are empowering ourselves in this phase. Okay, anyway, let me keep, I probably said all that needs to be said, but let me read this. Many extraordinarily talented artists have followed in his wake, but it was James Brown who kicked down the door, releasing the all-conquering force that is soul and its multiple, ever-mutating offshoots, thereby changing the sonic landscape of the modern world forever. He was an electrifying icon of self-determination, the swaggering godfather of soul, the co-creator and prime mover of funk, the progenitor of the guiding spirit of hip-hop and R&B. Wow. Brown's monumental presence, defiance, and raging ego drove him from a childhood of desperate poverty all the way to the top, and then way, way, way over the top. And he was born in 1933 and died in 2006, which I think the numerology may be important, but I'm not going to get into it. I'm too tired for math, but yeah, this is just like a bit like a larger than life energy of power. And I think that in our own way, like that's who all of us are when we drop the limiting beliefs, when we drop the need to like fit into a box or to be a certain way, or to almost like bow ourselves down to be approved of. Because sometimes when people show up and they're the ish and they know it, they can get a lot of hate. I feel like his energy is just like, no, just be that person. And the fact that he is like, something about his energy is also like, they said he was the godfather of souls. So it's almost like, again, coming back into that soul essence, reconnecting with the soul that's within us and sending it out in our own individual frequency and our own individual like musical style. Even if we don't play an instrument, like the sound of you being you and living in life is music personified. And how you, just like him, can be an inspiration for so many other beautiful genres of music, all genres of music, but you know, other creators, other light workers, other people, to be able to adjust the sound that their frequencies are making to be more harmonic as well. So there's just so much power coming in from these two energies, and they have the masculine and feminine as well. So there's a balance. I think these people were kind of, and Ella Fitzgerald was before James Brown, but let me take a look. She was born in 1917 and died in 1996. So yeah, I mean, they're two different generations, but these two powerful people are just a golden era of music, and you know, Black music especially. So I just feel like there's an energy of like empowerment, of like Black pride, which I think is really interesting. So yeah, I hope that helps. And an unapologetic, hold on, let me get this. An unapologetic like Blackness, that's such an interesting message. An unapologetic Blackness. So that's a specific message for some of you watching me here. Just being very, owning all of who you are, owning all of your heritage, and owning all of your essence and your power that has come through your ancestral line. You know, James Brown and Ella Fitzgerald just being a very small subset of all the amazing like Black, not just musicians, but just souls that have come through. And I think maybe also the idea in this particular timeline, like, you know, African American people or Black people in the diaspora do have a harder time a lot of times than other races. I think that like there's an empowerment energy coming in specifically for that group because the need for equality is stronger than it's ever been. So I think that's so cool. And maybe these people are literally sorry, I almost dropped my deck, are literally ancestors for some of you. So that's really cool. Okay, so let me just get one more card. And this will be, what is this for? Advice. I feel like I've given plenty, but just one advice card for us as we move into the end of the portal into October 28th. Advice, final piece of advice for anyone watching here today. Okay, I have Miriam Makeba. Okay. She's the lady, I believe she's from South Africa. If I'm wrong, correct me, but I'm pretty sure she's from South Africa. She was the lady that did the click song. It's like the Xhosa language. I didn't say that. It's like a click in the Xhosa language. So she's very popular for that, but she was also a very powerful activist, like one of the biggest, I think, musical activists that have made it to the West and become popular as well. Let's see what this says. If times are broken, it's our job to mend them. Okay, that goes exactly into what I was saying, like owning your power, taking full responsibility for the fact that you do play a big role in your own life, and a little piece of the collective as well. And owning that and being a beacon for empowerment, for peace, for justice, like you absolutely have that power. Your joy makes fools of your oppressors. Yes, so this is a point that I have been thinking about deeply, just kind of pondering this quietly to myself. Be joyful anyway. If there's any message that I could put to you during this time, like be joyful anyway. The frequency of joy is available to you in all moments. And I feel like now more than ever, and maybe that's why I felt called to come on, is there's a lot of things, maybe it's in your personal relationships, maybe it's on the news, that are targeting the joy frequency and trying to convince people not to tap into that frequency for one reason or another. It could be like you see the suffering going on around you with war, and you just kind of get an empathy overwhelmed, so that you kind of just temporarily like slip out of it. And it's perfectly normal if that happens temporarily, but if it becomes like a continuous cycle of like you're having trouble finding your happiness because you're so upset about what's going on in the world, that I believe is kind of I just feel like there's an assault going on in the joy frequency, and I just don't want to say anything that would offend anyone. I just think that there are some kind of energetic agendas to pull people out of joy through various means, such as the news, or such as like shaming people who, decide that maybe they just can't deal with another news story on a war or anything like that. It really is about prioritizing your joy first, and from that place, that's how you can help the world. Like, you can't help the world if you are upset, depressed, stressed, and empathy overload, like a complete bleeding heart with like no emotional or energetic boundaries. It's the joy that makes the change. It's the joy that brings the peace. It's the joy that brings that kind of like nirvana-like state to your front door. And when you're in that space, then that's what you can spread out to the world, and you can impact the world in a positive way. So, and in the age of liars, the truth is dynamite. So this is just about being in the complete essence of authenticity, of being a truth teller, but obviously a compassionate truth teller. I'm getting the energy again of like standing up, empowerment, and being defiantly joyful. Because it is, especially in this age that we're in now, like, to be joyful is such a powerful act of empowerment that I just don't feel like enough people are claiming, because they're getting caught up in a frenzy of other people's pain. And I think that there is a way to offer compassion and help in a balanced way that allows you to use whatever you have to help others without it depleting you. And I just think that the Miriam Makeba energy is very here for that as well. Let me read her card and then I'll wrap. Yeah, South African. The South African singer Miriam Makeba was banned from her homeland for 30 years and subsequently exiled from her adopted America, but she became a superstar of world music decades before the term was invented. I wonder why she was exiled. A tireless anti-apartheid campaigner, civil rights activist, and spokesperson for the oppressed. Mama Africa, wow, was the first, that was her nickname, Mama Africa, was the first African artist to have an international impact. Her effortlessly sulfur voice and haunting melodies expressed the pain of exile and dislocation, and articulated universal themes of struggle and self-determination during a period when that message was most urgent. She was born in 1932 and died in 2008. Okay, so I'm getting the energy, obviously, of activism, but it's another strong, like, Black power queen energy coming in. And it's interesting that we have like 2 African Americans and 1 African singer. Every single one of these people known for their activism, for their powerful voice, for speaking up when it wasn't popular, saying the things that maybe people didn't want to hear, and just being like a beacon for hope and positivity in a time when it wasn't cool. So I'm getting a strong, like, just Black power like vibe. It's like almost like a reawakening or like a resurgence of Black kingdom and queendom as it exists like through the African lines, and having that not be something to be ashamed of at all, because I just think that historically that has been shamed. And I think for some of us, like, stepping into our authenticity means stepping into our heritage more fully and owning that, like, unapologetically, like Wakanda style. So that's like a really powerful message. But just broadening it out a little bit for anyone who might be watching who isn't of African origin specifically, it's really just the general message is standing up for yourself, standing up for what's right, being in joy, even if it feels like, I almost want to say, even if it feels like the toxic thing to do, because there is like this, I'm noticing like this energy stream that's trying to convince people that joy is toxic, or that joy is like being joyful in times when others are suffering is somehow wrong, and I do not believe that at all. And I just feel like the Miriam Makeba energy is kind of coming in to remind us that that is a fundamental misunderstanding of what it means to be joyful and what it means to be powerful. So I hope that this week you guys will choose yourself, you guys will choose joy, you guys will stand up for yourselves, stand up. I'm hearing stand up for Africa. I don't know what that means. Well, I know what it means, but I don't know if it relates to anything coming up this week or not. Stand up for your ancestry, whatever that may be. A lot of us do have oppression in our ancestry in some form or another. Stand up for those who need help the most, and be the person that empowers yourself by saying what might be uncomfortable to hear. All right, so that's what I have. Again, reminder, October 28th is my special ritual. I hope to see you all there. And again, you can go to my website, eringabrielle.com, for readings, healing spells, etc. I love you. Bye.